Are you constantly feeling drained, exhausted, and emotionally overwhelmed? Do you find yourself saying yes to everyone else while your own energy is slipping away? What if I told you that the reason you're feeling this way might not be about how much you're giving, but about how little you're protecting? It's time to consider something vital for your well-being: protecting your energy. Today, I'm taking on a bold challenge to protect my energy by setting healthy boundaries for one full week. Let's see if I can truly change my life by doing this. And if I can, you can too. Are you ready to join me in this transformation? In our fast-paced world, we're constantly interacting with people, environments, and situations that either uplift or deplete us. When we fail to manage our energy, it leads to stress, fatigue, and eventually burnout. This is where the magic of boundaries comes in. It's the key to preserving your peace, your energy, and your mental health. It is one of the most powerful tools you can use to live a balanced, fulfilling life. Just like chakras, our energy centers in the body. When you don't protect your personal boundaries, your energy can become blocked, misaligned, and weakened. You might start feeling like everything is just too much. You'll experience a disconnect between who you truly are and how you feel on the inside. Setting boundaries is like clearing the pathways for your energy to flow freely. If you've ever felt exhausted after a social gathering or drained after a tough conversation, you've probably been in a situation where you didn't protect your energy. And if you're constantly giving without getting anything back, it's only a matter of time before burnout hits. This is where healthy boundaries come in. They allow us to preserve our energy, restore balance, and move through life more intentionally. We all face boundary challenges. It could be in your work life, family dynamics, friendships, or even within yourself. You might feel pressure to say yes when you want to say no, or you feel guilty for taking time for yourself. The result? Exhaustion, stress, and emotional burnout. And the worst part is, this drains your energy in ways that affect every aspect of your life: your health, your career, your relationships, and your happiness. Let me tell you about a time when I found myself overcommitting, constantly giving, and never receiving back. I was drained. At work, I said yes to every extra task because I didn't want to disappoint anyone. I agreed to social events when I didn't feel like going. I even volunteered for projects I wasn't interested in. But at the end of the day, I felt empty. I wasn't showing up as my best self, and I started to resent the very things I was giving so much to. I was slowly burning out, and it all stemmed from not setting proper boundaries. I'm sure you've been there too. You've said yes to things that drained you just because you didn't want to upset anyone. Or maybe you felt obligated to help someone out. But have you ever asked yourself, what about me? If you don't take care of your own energy, you'll find yourself constantly running on empty. And that's not sustainable. This is why we need to set boundaries to protect what's most valuable, our well-being. It's a necessary skill for thriving in today's world, where everyone and everything demands your attention. Let's break down the different types of boundaries that you need to start protecting today. Emotional boundaries are about protecting yourself from emotional vampires, those who drain your emotional energy. Have you ever felt emotionally exhausted after a conversation with someone? That's because you're absorbing their emotions. You've probably been around someone who is always complaining, constantly negative, or just emotionally high maintenance. These people can leave you feeling drained without even realizing it. By setting emotional boundaries, you stop taking on the emotional weight of others. You don't have to carry their baggage. You can still be there for them, but you don't have to absorb their negativity. Physical boundaries are about controlling your personal space and how much physical energy you give to others. Overextending yourself physically leads to fatigue. You've probably felt drained after spending time with a group of people, even if the time was enjoyable. But it's also important to protect your physical space. For example, if you're constantly allowing people to invade your personal space, whether it's in a social setting or at work, you'll feel drained even if you're physically present. Protecting your physical energy means you control your interactions and space. You choose when and where to expend your energy. Time is one of the most precious resources we have, but we often allow others to take our time without realizing it. Whether it's work commitments, family obligations, or social events, you need to protect your time. Time is energy, and if you're constantly giving it away to others, you have nothing left for yourself. When you protect your time, you create more room for self-care, rest, and pursuing your own goals. Time boundaries allow you to say no to things that don't align with your priorities and values, and instead focus on what really matters to you. If you're an empath, you feel the emotions of others deeply. While this is a gift, it can also become overwhelming. You may absorb others' sadness, stress, or anger, leaving you exhausted. I know many empaths struggle with this. They feel the weight of the world on their shoulders because they absorb everything around them. By setting boundaries, you learn to detach from other people's emotions, allowing you to preserve your own energy. It's not about being cold or uncaring. It's about creating the emotional space needed to recharge and keep your own energy intact. Let's talk about one of the most powerful things you can do to protect your energy: saying no. It might sound simple, but it's life-changing. Saying no to things that don't serve you is an act of self-love and self-preservation. The moment I started saying no to things that drained me and yes to things that nourished me, everything changed. Saying no is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It's a commitment to yourself, to your mental and emotional health. I'll admit, it wasn't easy at first. Saying no felt like I was disappointing people. But once I started, I felt an incredible sense of relief. I started saying no to unnecessary meetings, no to people who were constantly demanding my energy, and no to situations that drained me. And you know what happened? I felt stronger, more focused, and empowered. My productivity went up, and my stress levels went down. It was the best decision I ever made for my well-being. Take a moment and think about where you've been giving away your energy without any return. What's one thing you can say no to right now? What's something that is draining you? Something that isn't benefiting you emotionally, physically, or mentally? Let's commit to setting a boundary today that will protect our energy. Healthy boundaries are not about being selfish. They're about being self-aware. By learning to protect our emotional, physical, and time boundaries, we take back control of our energy and our lives. It's not about keeping others out. It's about giving ourselves the space to thrive. It's about making yourself a priority in your own life. When we set boundaries, we don't just protect our energy. We create room for growth, peace, and more meaningful relationships. By saying no, we say yes to a life that's more aligned with our true selves. Boundaries help us become the best versions of ourselves because they allow us to focus on what truly matters to us, without the constant distraction of things or people who drain us. I want to hear from you. What's the first boundary you're going to set today to protect your energy? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're ready to prioritize your peace and energy, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more self-care and personal growth tips. Together, we can create lives of balance and empowerment.